Hello, and welcome to the Totally Clinical podcast, brought to you by Teckro. Totally Clinical is a deep dive into the freshest trends, big-time challenges, and most excellent triumphs of clinical trials. I'm Hannah, your host. Join me as I chat with industry experts, trailblazers, thought leaders, and most importantly, the people benefiting from clinical research. So tune in, settle back, and don't touch that dial. It's time to get totally clinical. This week, Silvina Baudino joins me on the podcast to discuss Teckro's novel new site program, Teckro Powered, to help increase adoption of modern site practices. Silvina brings more than 20 years of clinical trial industry experience. Her career has encompassed a range of responsibilities. This includes innovative site-centric delivery models and strategies to improve quality and accessibility to trials for patients globally. Silvina, welcome to the podcast. To start, could you give the listeners an overview of Teckro Powered?
Teckro Powered program is really around sites that value clinical research. We build a technology-ready brand, so we want sites to be ready to embrace technology. They are sites that have been trained on Teckro, they feel comfortable with Teckro, and they are ready to go. What we think that this network will bring to sites and will bring to the community really in clinical research is expand also physician participation in research, because there is a community of research sites that is open to collaborate and advise in the industry, and maybe sites that feel that clinical research is so complicated. When we facilitate them conducting clinical trials and the clinical trial process, they will be more inclined to adopt technology and to participate in clinical trials. And when we expand physician participation, we expand really patient outreach. That is, at the end, our ultimate goal.
So this will really help trials embrace modern site practices and improve engagement.
Effective engagement really begins with awareness of the need and challenges of the different sites, different type of sites, and not just the site, the different staff roles of those sites. We need to understand their pain points and how we can help them to do their work better. So when research staff has immediate access to accurate answers in their daily work, and they have the right guidance, they can really focus on what is important, that is recruit the right patients and faster, improve the timelines, the time to resolve the issues they have. They can increase the participant safety because they have the information they need. And I think that really Teckro can help the sites to simplify the clinical trial process and achieve these goals. For that reason, we said that sites need to be empowered, and we like them to be Teckro Powered. This is where this is coming from. We really need to help the sites. We need to be sure that our platform, what we are offering sites, is what they need to conduct the clinical trials in a better and safer and faster way. And they communicate better with sponsors. It's not just about context, it's communication and it's trust. This is the main point here, is to build trust with the sites. We want their input, how they're using our technology, and how we can empower them.
So Teckro Powered really fills a gap in the industry. To put this in perspective, could you expand on some of the biggest challenges sites currently face when it comes to managing clinical trials?
We are moving into the future. We know that. The future of technology. And believe it or not, the biggest challenge that the sites are facing is still administrative burden. It's true that there is new technology, there are new software systems that were created to facilitate the administrative work in clinical trials. However, some of them are equally or even more complex than the previous manual processes. The reality is that if sites are required to use technology because it's faster, but it's not simpler, it can create the same or more workload than before. Some of the new digital processes may even take longer than the old manual ones. That is really not helpful for sites. New technology adoption and implementation involves training and learning, which means time. So it's very important that this is really useful and help with the site challenges in the way they provide real support and improve site performance. It's not a secret that clinical trials complexity is increasing every day across therapeutic areas. And for that reason, sites need more time to identify the patient population, that now is very targeted, and also to conduct the clinical trial processes that are more time consuming. For that reason, it's really crucial to consider all clinical trial stakeholders' needs and challenges to make a decision when we want to implement new technology. It needs to help everybody.
So Teckro Powered can really help address these challenges. Could you expand a bit more on the idea of Teckro as a hub?
So the idea is that how we help Teckro, how we support sites in different ways, in different aspects. We support with content and we support with communication and visibility. So we really want to provide sites with a solution and support to not just resolve problems with content when they have questions and look at the protocol or the study documents in a different way, but also to access to the different stakeholders of the protocol in a faster and more efficient way through our platform. But we also want to create a community, so because we see that sites are facing similar problems in terms of technology adoption when they're looking to adopt new systems, new softwares. So we want to be sure that sites can count with each other to share experiences and to better understand the best way to evaluate technology and to make decisions about which technology they want to use when it comes to their site technology, and also how they can be better prepared to work and engage with technologies that are provided by sponsors or CROs. So we think that really collaboration is something that we would like to foster. Is between not just among the sites as a community, but also with the other stakeholders that are the sponsors and CROs. We think that the community is what will really help everybody to move forward and to have a better clinical trial process. That at the end, we all have the ultimate goal is the safety of the patients and to bring patients new treatment options.
And sponsors will also benefit from this new program, won't they? Could you explain more about this?
Sponsor will benefit about this because one of the struggles, as I said, for sites is to adopt new technologies, and for sponsors, when they decide to include some technology or different systems in their clinical trials, they want to be sure that the sites are okay with that, they adopt the technology and they're engaged with it. So how we can benefit sponsors with Teckro Powered sites is really with early engagement. If we can engage with sites and they know about Teckro and they know how to use Teckro and create their accounts in advance, when the time comes and they have a protocol, clinical study that is on Teckro, they will really embrace it because they know the system, they know how can our platform help their workload on a daily basis, instead of feeling that this additional burden when they are trying to learn about a lot of systems and different processes when the study is ready to start. So we are facilitating the process to sponsors and also to CRAs, because CRAs are many times the trainers for the sites for new technology. So this is something that they will not have to be concerned at the time that they are starting a study, because sites are already trained and they are already familiar with the technology. So there will not be any roadblocks there in terms of embracing our platform. So sponsors like that. And on the other hand, we can provide sponsors before they start the trial the names of the sites that are part of Teckro, so they know that these are technology savvy sites, that they are training our technology and they are ready to go. It's the concept really of site readiness instead of add additional burden. During a very stressful moment for sites, help them being ready in advance.
And finally, what are your long-term ambitions for the program?
We are starting engaging sites is really to build a community. For now, we are going from different sites and talking to them. They can use the technology and provide feedback, and they are ready to go. But my long-term vision is to create a community that we can create focus groups and in a more organized way to provide that, continue opening the communication channel between our product developers and the sites. So there is this continuous exchange of ideas when it comes to move forward with our product. Really taking into account what they need and seeing the evolution. So maybe there are things that we are not thinking about right now that could be additional features that we can have in our platform, but because we don't have that feedback, we are not thinking about it. It's going on. This is happening with sponsors too, but we need to be sure that we listen to the sites to hear what they have to say and what they have to propose. We understand that sometimes we cannot comply with all the requests, but at least to listen, and maybe there are some things that we cannot do in the short term, but we can do in the long term. It's like evolve together. This is my vision for the future of Teckro Powered.
Thank you, Silvina, for explaining more about Teckro Powered and how both sites and sponsors will benefit from this new community to help sites get technology ready and boost adoption of up-to-date trial practices. And that's your dose of Totally Clinical. For all the listeners out there, you can follow Teckro on Twitter. The handle is @TeckroOfficial, LinkedIn and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, download the Totally Clinical podcast on Apple, Spotify and Google. See you on your next visit, and remember to bring your friends. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.